an echo, by the way.
Yeah, then help, we can get the echo to disappear.
Please bow your heads and pray with me. Dear Lord, we come before you this evening, thanking you for the blessings of this day and the blessings that you give us every day. We ask that you bless our minds with wisdom so that we can make the decisions that are in the best interest of our water system and its members. Lord, we ask that you watch over and protect all of our military men and women, first responders, all those that work to keep us free and safe every day. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Now we can do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, I see we have a quorum of our directors here this evening. Audio and video recorders are in use. If you'd like to address the board, please fill out our member sheet in the lobby there. Please remember that each member is allocated 3 minutes to address the board. And now moving right along. Apologies to the group for being a little late. We obviously ran a little long on our last meeting, and we'll make this as painless as we can. First off, let's move into approval of the minutes and transcripts. Can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the April 2nd, 2026 closed executive session meeting minutes, redacted and unredacted, and the April 21st regular board meeting minutes and transcripts.
Second.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Yes, Mr. President, with regard to the April 21st minutes, I would ask that under new business, under the CEO update, bullet number 4, because of the significance of that litigation, year-to-date legal fees associated with Romy White versus Holly Navarro water system litigation carry the exact amount for our members' benefits so that they do not have to go to the agenda to determine that amount, nor would they have to go to the transcripts to determine what should be readily available in the minutes.
Any other discussion?
So she's saying that was a change to the minutes as they're written?
Yes,
Okay.
I am asking for that, yes.
Where is that change needed again?
That is on the April 21st, 2026 minutes under new business, the 4th bullet under the CEO update. The year-to-date legal fees associated with the Romy White versus Holly Navarro water system litigation because of the significance of that to the water system members.
I'll amend the motion to include that change.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Can I have a vote? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. We have 5 ayes. Next up, approval of the new memberships.
5 ayes. Just for the record, I abstained. I wasn't here last month.
Apologies. 4 ayes. Next up, approval of the memberships. April, we had 291 new memberships, 273 cancels, no transfers. Can I get a motion to approve the approval of memberships?
Move to approve the transfer of memberships.
Second.
New, canceled, and transfers.
I second.
Any discussion? Let's get a vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Then we have 5 ayes.
No, we have 6.
There's 6 members here.
I'm sorry. 6. Twice.
I thought that headache was really causing me problems.
I see unfinished business none, so we'll move on to new business. we're directly into what we were just discussing under finance. Mr. Krigler, you want to walk us through it?
Yes, so tonight is the culmination of a long, extended procurement process to select a replacement financial accounting software. We're currently using Edmunds GovTech. Our staff's viewed multiple demos, basically focused on 2 different vendors. We've narrowed it down to one vendor, and this is the vendor that we're recommending tonight. We have previous experience with. Last summer, we hired an IT consultant, Rayburn Consulting, to help us with this product search as well as facilitate the demos. That process went real well. We received a recommendation from them. They agree with our selection tonight of Sage Intact. The implementation for the software would be done by an entity called Cargus, who you heard from tonight. They specialize in Sage Intact implementations. One of the concerns that the board has expressed is being able to report or see the financials based on the prior month. And the finance department has assured me that once the Sage is implemented, we will be able to do that. Obviously, Cargus provided a live demo tonight. Hopefully satisfied the board's concerns. We have provided the pricing here. We have a implementation cost for 2026. We have the software cost for 2026. And those 2 items, which are the first 2 items, are what we're asking for approval for tonight in the amount of $63,225. I'll say a few words about the contract aspect of this. You'll notice that legal review says pending legal review. We haven't received the contract document. That's the actual agreement that we'll sign with Cargus. And there's still some negotiation to be done there. You know, one of the concerns with Edmunds was that we signed up for a very long contract term, 5 years to be exact. And then when it went south and we weren't happy with the product, we weren't able to get out of it. We weren't able to do anything about that. So we were essentially stuck. We don't want that to happen again. And Cargus has, they're willing to be flexible on that. They've talked about a 3-year term. They also would be open to a 1-year term. However, it would affect the pricing. So some options that we'll have to look at when we get to that point. But I think that will allay some of the board's concerns as well in terms of us being able to, you know, either do something different if we don't like this, or move on if we don't like this. And I think that was a big concern with the Edmunds process, is that we were stuck for so long with something that we couldn't get out of. So anyway, so with that, we're recommending an award tonight of that financial accounting software contract in the amount of $63,225, and that will cover the 2026 implementation and software costs.
In future years, the cost would be an annual of $43,000 and some change per year.
That's my understanding, yeah.
43,000 a year?
What's that?
43,000 a year?
43,000.
What are we currently paying for Edmunds?
50, around 50. And 50, but that's accounting plus utility bill. The other departments.
And so this would be new expense on top of the existing 50 that we're already paying.
For this year, yes.
And for future years?
Well, the contract with Edmunds is up in 27, so that cost goes away. And then we're also going to have a utility billing software that will come before this board, hopefully in the next couple of months. Possibly an asset management software as well. Those will have costs associated with them.
Are there any other additional fees or additional software packages that need to be purchased to go along with this, like the Adobe Workfront?
Drew, were you worried about that?
This is standalone. So you're reporting, I don't know if you like just personal reports or anything, not any of that. This is gonna give you every report you saw straight out of it.
Adobe Work.
The license for Adobe Workfront is included in their software cost. Okay.
And so I see tonight's financial report, the numbers appear to be from March 2026, which in my mind is only 1 month behind. Is that in your mind also only 1 month lag if they show March 2026 and it's the middle of May?
When we go to one
Nope,
month,
nope, not just right now.
right now we're,
So why does this, so if we're in May, why is it in March? Numbers.
What you'd be seeing would be through the end of April, Don, if we go to 1 month.
I agree, but that's, okay, in my mind, that's not a month behind, that's, if we were reporting April now, we're reporting the past month, not a month behind.
I
So
think it's
I'm,
just a terminology thing,
okay,
prior month or 2 months back, however you say it.
okay, but that's what I was getting to, with this implementation of Sage Intact. After it's up and running and we're using it, that would say April now instead of March. I would say April. And we would be, in my mind, no delay in saying what the finances are after the end of April. It would be by the board meeting, we know what we did last month or the prior month.
Has anyone on our staff actually worked on this product?
not Sage Intact, we use Sage Business prior. Sage Intact, this version of Sage is much advanced from what I've seen.
So in the demo, we watched them playing around with a particular invoice. Does every invoice have to be manually entered into the system, or is it able to connect with someone like AT&T for automatic feed of invoices into the system?
Most of our invoices come in that way, so we would just upload it.
As in the PDF reader, so the read it takes it right into the software, or
Just upload the file, upload.
Brings it right in and scans the document. Things are moving quickly last year. It's pretty wild to see it, but it reads it, knows the layout, enters it.
and did I understand correctly, it already has a list of vendors like AT&T within the system, or do we have to build our list of vendors?
They will build it for you. They will, part of the process, if you don't mind me expanding, is they're gonna help you clean up your GL. So part of the process of the workarounds you gotta do with admins isn't the way you guys wanna do it. There's a cleanup, they help you through that entire process and set up all your vendors, all your GLs, they set up for you.
And did we get an answer, Barbara, to we are able to extract our history from the existing system in the Excel format?
I didn't hear that question. So, the current, so your old data, like, you're talking Black Mountain?
No, out of the admin system. So a requirement I saw was that we be able to export the data from our existing system in Excel or import into Sage Intact.
Yeah, so the reporting that, admins will do, they'll give it to you in a CSV/Excel format, that they'll be responsible to do that. Your X amount of reporting, that you normally do will be also the files that they'll be asking for. But yeah, your admins, you are paying them for your data, it's your data, and they have to give it.
I don't have any doubts about that. My concern is that the software will actually export the data in a fashion that Sage can consume.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
That's the way Edmund set it up in the beginning, was the same fashion.
And I saw a stipulation that subledgers would not be included in the export. Is there a reason for that?
I don't know if it was part of the Edmund's piece, I'm not sure.
Could you repeat that question, Mr. President?
Sorry, I saw in my review that the subledger information would not be something that would be imported into the system, into the new system. So we lose that, and we have to depend upon printing out copies out of the old system in order to have something for a historical standpoint.
What are you calling subledger?
We will get all of the debits and credits. We get all of the vendors. We would get all the vendor information, the chart of accounts, the general ledger, and we would not get where they're drilling down on the invoices from Sage. We do not currently get that anyway from Edmunds.
That's why you're not having it.
We don't have it.
We don't have it. So they did X amount of exploratory, and I think you'll recall they asked a lot of questions during their demos on your data structure and different things. So they're seeing what you have or don't have.
All right, Barbara, I want this to come across as derogatory, but what I think I heard is the stuff that we're not going to get, the subledgers that were in the email back to us, the stuff we're not going to get is stuff we don't have from Edmunds now. Is that true? Okay, so it's not like there's something out there that we're not going to get. We're just, Edmunds doesn't provide it, so we're not going to have that either. It's not going to get imported. Is that true statement? Okay.
But going forward, we would have that ability, yes.
Mr. President, I have a couple questions. Provided that the green light is given, did I hear that the actual implementation green light online would be in September or July? Which of those dates?
September is what he said today. It's moved as they delayed it. So they had it, if you started a few months ago, it was forward, but right now they're saying they'll have you go live by September.
And what happens between the 1st of July and that time? They're doing refinements and just making sure everything is matching and everything is converting?
Yes, they are going to be asking so many questions on every piece of data that you see to make sure that it's moved into the new format the way you intended it. So sometimes what we've seen here is you have a bunch of stuff that you guys are doing that you're only doing it because of a workaround. So they're going to literally troubleshoot. This is what you have. You want this, right? Yes. Well, that means they need to change that format because, again, you guys have a lot of workarounds, so they literally troubleshoot that. So they're going to convert the data, help you set it up, clean your GL, load in all of your current processes, your current vendors. There's some additional functionality in the purchase order system. It'll help you guys like upgrade. And so then the go live is they will put the team in a sandbox environment, it's referred to, and they will be playing with the data and poking at it and troubleshooting it and getting familiar and trained, and then they flip the switch and you're go live.
So the sandbox is prior to September 1st. 'Cause you started that statement with, when we go live, they're in the sandbox. And
so yeah, let me
okay.
back up because I'm filling in the blanks with my normal existence of what we do day to day. They're going to take your data and they're going to take a Sage system and they're going to take your data and put it in there and configure it the way you guys do, basically mapping how it's done. Once it's in there, that is the sandbox environment, and then they train in that environment, they show you everything, and then you guys are going to see as you're setting it up, well, actually, we don't want to do it that way. We've changed our mind because it's clearly backwards. And then they'll help you do that in the sandbox. You'll train in the sandbox, and then the go live is just, that's literally like flipping the switch. You are no longer. But that stage, your sandbox environment will turn into your actual, it's referred to as a production environment, and now you're live.
So your sandbox is synonymous with beta testing?
Pretty much, yeah. It's workable.
And then my second question, and this has been a long-standing concern, is performance metrics. And I had asked our legal counsel, did we have any recourse with Edmunds for non-performance and issues that we were having, which were really causing delays and frustration for the staff? Will we have those will at some point, and at what point would that be?
Well, as Mr. Krigler said, we haven't seen the terms or the contract, so that's still to be negotiated and to look at what the document says. So presumably, we will review it. Your staff will get comfortable with it. They'll make a recommendation to you. You'll approve or not approve.
So there's two parts. A preliminary approval tonight is contingent upon the terms of the contract that we can work out.
Correct. You don't have a contract in place right now.
And will you be recommending some performance metrics to make sure we're not in the same position as we have been with Edmunds, with no ability to get any financial consideration for the issues that we've sustained?
We will negotiate the terms and see what we can come back with. And if those are acceptable to you, if they're not, we'll go back.
Thank you.
So has our IT team reviewed the software? Do they agree this is the correct package?
Yes. They're on board.
So
So-
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go right ahead.
I was going to ask it slightly different. From our IT perspective, I'm mostly concerned with, do our systems have the power and support to implement this software package, and does it meet whatever security protocols we need for an industry? I don't know the answers to that, and I might be talking out of base, but that's my concern with regards to IT. If they said, yeah, whatever requirements we have to meet for the government, does this software package meet those?
I'll answer that if it's okay. So it's referred to as SOC 2 compliance, means that you're meeting the requirements for security. Who's the gentleman who's your IT guy? Johnny, he asked all the vendors to supply SOC 2 documentation. They are SOC 2 compliant, and the new Edmunds, is it cloud-based for you guys, or is it here in your server? Yeah, so your system will not have any requirements at all. You log in like you're logging into your news channel or Facebook. It's literally cloud-based, secured that way. So it's you don't need any more servers or any storage space. It's going to come through the
cloud.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's so no additional requirements, and it's SOC 2 compliant.
Okay.
That begs the question, which cloud? Is it AWS, Azure? Who
I
is it?
can't remember which one they are. They've got the redundancies, and I do know that the Sage Intact that is specific to utilities and nonprofits is what Sage Intact is designed for. The Sage other platform is used for multi-billion-dollar corporations that require if this one gets hit by a meteorite, it will go over here. So, but I don't know if it's AWS or Azure, but it's the top of the top.
Can you get us that answer?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm confused. Are you asking us to tell you that it's okay to go spend $63,000? Are you asking if it's okay to go to the next level on this, which is to get a contract in the legal's hand, have them review it, work out whether or not we'll have performance metrics, and whether or not we'll have an ability to walk away if it does not perform as expected and promised?
Yeah, tonight we're just asking for the former, the authorization to spend more than $25,000. I wouldn't have authority to really sign that contract anyway, so it's gotta come back to you.
And we're not going to spend the money until the contract's approved, correct?
Right.
I'll make a motion that we direct staff to move forward with getting contract documents from Sage Intact to begin our 2026 software implementation with their software.
I'll second it for discussion. Okay, so I have a question. that has to do with September 1 go live date. As Ken mentioned, the only thing we're approving tonight is, okay, we want to see the contract. Is that time delay or however long that takes, is that included in this September 1 live date now?
Probably not.
Okay, so not,
Yeah, but probably the best we could hope for is bringing it back to the June board, so whatever that does to our schedule, we'll have to top the target.
okay, so just want everybody here, what I'm hearing, and it happens in business, it's not that it's not a big deal, but September 1 really doesn't mean anything right now. Okay? So everybody knows it just doesn't. Right? Which, as long as we're okay with that, I'm sorry. If I'm staying too close or.
Can I
Okay.
piggyback on your,
Just want everybody to know, September 1 is not, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a go live date. And it's no fault of Rayburn or our staff, it's just not gonna happen, I don't believe.
and
Okay.
there are still some unanswered questions, and I think some of our board members, particularly our president, was quite, I'll just say it, anal retentive in identifying some of the real necessary performances that should be gleaned as outputs from the system. And I would really like to see some of the rest of those answers, and maybe this would give the staff more time to drill down on those, because I think in the long run, some assurances with regard to those would result in better performance long-term, a more familiarity with the system, and I would like to see some of those answers.
Well, I think that you've got to start that train rolling down the track, you know, and the longer we wait as a board to do that, the longer it's going to take to get our financial software where it needs to be. We've struggled with Edmunds for years now, and I think the way to get those answers is to see the contract, have our attorney review it, have us review it, and make sure that those performance metrics are part of the contract. What is our out if they don't, you know, perform? But I think tonight, you know, it would be in the system's best interest for us to start that train rolling down the track.
I agree. I agree with you. This is just a matter of finesse from the staff while we're waiting on the contract. Those answers could be forthcoming to give those of us that are really concerned a better feel and feel more comfortable with this embarking on another avenue that we've already been through and it didn't work so well.
Mr. President, if I could, one thing that the CEO indicated that would, you know, possibly help with the board's issue, which was different from what you have now, is that Sage was open to a one-year contract. Your accounting system, you know, software is going to be difficult to evaluate, and it's going to be impossible for me to write every contingency in any type of contract that you could ever know would always be there. But if you weren't locked in, and in fact that seems to be the issue currently, perhaps that mitigates the issue. You know, you've got it for a year. If it doesn't work, you find something else. That might be a way to move forward. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for us to know exactly what it is that, you know, your concerns are, and then be able to address those in a legal document, which would be a software contract. Because we've seen a lot of these, you know, they're going to come, it's going to be a, you know, 12-page, small letter, front and back. Jurisdiction is going to be Pennsylvania because that's where they are, which is not going to be favorable, but it is what it is because it's an enterprise software package. So that would be something that would be helpful for staff and your attorney to know what your pain points are. Is it term? You just don't want us to go long term, which might cost more, obviously, but nevertheless could get out earlier. Maybe that's a way, guidance like that might be helpful.
And I think part of that too is we're not gonna go live until the staff is happy with it. So we're gonna know before we go live if it works. Am I right about that? Does it meet your needs? Does it do everything we want it to do? Is it easy to use? Is it simple for everyone? I mean, that's the key to it. And that's where we have the issues now, is it's a nightmare what we have currently. So we're gonna know before it goes live, everything works, everything's the way we want it, let's go.
You guys are gonna be doing backflips. It's not a small increment. Just one quick clarification on the contract. Cargas is the implementation contractor, and we'll call it the reseller. So your license agreement for Sage will be directly with Sage. I'm not sure where that's out of. It might be California, but just to clarify. And then your implementation contract, that will be with Sage, or Cargas out of Pennsylvania. So just to clarify those, and just to help set some expectations, definitely not a lawyer, even though I am staying at the Holiday Inn Express. You know, that's a good commercial. You guys are selling a lawyer. The software agreements with the big guys is like Microsoft. They're not accepting a lot of edits. Cargas will maybe be good on what they can do on the implementation, but I'm just setting expectations. Your exit is your term, and you know what I would. You guys right now are going from a 76 Pinto that blows up if it gets hit. You're going to a brand new state-of-the-art safe car. They're night and day, guys. You know what your staff is doing and dealing with today. So just to, but to Rob, your question, yes, they will not go live. If they do a 1-year term, pay for an implementation, and everything was a wet paper bag and it doesn't work, they don't flip the switch. It's that simple. You're done. You don't turn it on.
And my concern
Yeah.
is that we spend $65,000, we get a year in,
Yeah.
and we've invested all of the effort for our staff,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work, we have no recourse. No one gives me back that $65,000 that we just gave someone on a promise
Yeah.
and a nice demo that this will work. And I have no doubt it's good software.
Yeah.
I've seen lots of good software packages.
Yeah.
The question is going to be, will it work for this organization? And will it work to our satisfaction? And what are the consequences to the software company if it does not?
Yeah.
Because right now, we're the only ones with skin in the game.
Yeah, there is no repercussion. They're not going to pay you back.
There's no recourse.
There's no recourse. Thank you. You're buying the best accounting software basically in the world. Our experience, and we don't know each other, we're meeting for the first time, spent a tremendous amount of time with your staff. There's not a shadow of a doubt. We've looked at other players. It wasn't even this software, and what we saw and what demands that we've seen is what we do day in and day out. I think, again, I think Barbara and her staff will be doing backflips. It's not a matter of they kind of like it from what they're dealing with. So, but yeah, just like you said.
For example, the staff explained that they would find holes in situations where they couldn't get a product. They would actually have that company come out here on 2 occasions, and to their great dismay, nothing was resolved. It was not navigable, nor was it negotiable, and they were left disappointed and basically empty promises that didn't work, and we don't want that for them.
Edmonds.
That's correct. We don't want that for them going forward. Things sound really good and really optimistic. They have been through a lot trying to deal tenaciously with this problem software.
We're doing Edmonds implementation.
So you know.
We were not part of the selection. So we are involved in a 3-year implementation that still hasn't gone live. all software is created equal. If we were with you, I think you bought it 3 years ago, we would not have approval for what your system is. It's in size comparison, it's a go-kart compared to General Motors.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Can we have a vote? All those in favor of our motion by Director Miller? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
None?
So we have 6 ayes.
Yep.
Thank you.
No nay.
Next, we'll move on to our CEO update. Mr. Krigler, can you walk us through?
Yeah, hit on a few recent items that are newsworthy. The week of May 4th was Drinking Water Week. That's a designation by the American Water Works Association that they push nationally for utilities to do outreach with their customers, and we had a pretty successful week. We had a well house tour set up for Thursday. I believe that was May the 7th. It did rain that day, so we didn't get a ton of people come out, but we had a nice setup. We're ready to do that again. You'll see some of the other pictures of just the staff and some of the other stuff we did that week. The other main outreach effort that week was we did a significant amount of social media outreach that we're going to build upon, so we're excited about that too. So we do, a month or two ago, we had a filter rehab project that we got the board to approve. We started that this week. We have a staff member from Ovivo that's on site helping us oversee. We're using staff labor, internal staff labor, to do the actual rehab. You can see they're down in the filters drained and they're down in the filter working. They're out there this week doing that work. This is a quick update on our regional reuse project showing construction progress. You can see the concrete wet wells fully installed, the 2 motors there above ground, the piping coming out of the pumps installed, ready to be tested, and you'll see that white building in the background is the electrical control building. We finally got the doors on it. There were some issues with the framing of the doors. But that's all been resolved, and we're getting real close to having some operational controls in there. You'll see the gray rectangle on the left, that's the generator. That's been installed as well. So we're real close, just waiting to get the last pieces installed and do our testing.
So Jeff, is this up at the ribs, or was
That's
that
at
at Elevating the
wastewater-
Vault?
That's at the wastewater treatment plant.
Oh, okay.
We were also recently approached by the city of Gulf Breeze. This is a piece of property we own off of 399, currently in a conservation easement, predominantly wetlands, this piece of property. City of Gulf Breeze wants to get an easement from us to run a force main across it. They have a development, I believe, to the southeast that they want to connect to 399. We told them we are amenable to having that discussion, and when they produce some documents, we will forward them to our legal team and get them to look at it and make sure we do this the right way. But in concept, we told them we'd be willing to work with them on this. That piece of property is currently landlocked, so as part of the easement agreement, we would want to be able to get access to that property. I'm not sure, probably from the northwest, but we'll have to work that out when we see what kind of easements and property they have. So anyway, you'll be seeing something on this in the future. And that piece of property has, like I said, has no value to us. It's strictly in a conservation easement, which means we can't do anything with it in terms of development. So I had a couple other updates. We did get a health insurance refund from Blue Cross Blue Shield. This was just a bit of good news. Based on our claim history, and I believe for the time period of 2025, we got a refund of $67,000 that came through, and we basically supplied that to the next month's premium bill. So that was good. I think it's one of the new programs that these insurance companies are doing, where they're able to look back at the claim history and make adjustments to the policy if those claims are under a certain threshold. I did want to update the board on our year-to-date legal expenses in the Romy White matter through April. We're at $47,151.01. Also just want to provide a quick update on our strategic plan implementation. We had a strategic planning session on May the 1st, and we've begun to get quotes for some assistance with kind of the first phase of our asset management plan, and we're going to focus on our wastewater treatment plant. So you'll hopefully see proposals for assistance with that at the June board meeting.
Can we back up just a second? I got some questions on Eglin, just for my edification, the reuse project. So what construction is still required for that project?
I think they need to finish putting the controls inside that white building that I was showing you.
Okay.
And they need to do a whole bunch of testing.
Okay.
That's
But the piping, everything's all in place.
Piping's all on the ground.
Finish the control room and then start testing.
Yep.
Okay. And the latest go live date, to paraphrase, is still late summer?
September 1, just like the other one.
Well, the other one's not September 1 anymore.
That's what's the problem. No, the testing is going to take a while. I think late summer is the best we can do right now.
Okay. Thanks.
Great. Let's move on to our director's update. Finance Committee.
I did not make the meetings. You stood in for 2 of them. Can you provide any update? I mean, Stephanie can do hers, but you need to do the O&M for me, if you don't mind.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
O&M looked fine. We can walk through the numbers with Barbara here, and we're actually on budget, actually spending less than we anticipated, doing better on making money, doing better on not spending money. So paraphrase that properly, Barbara.
Want to go ahead and do that now?
Yes, ma'am, please.
All right.
Make sure that speaker is close to you so folks can hear you. Thank you, Barbara.
All right, so, the overall revenue expenses, or the overall total revenue is on budget at 25%, and the overall general administration expenses are under budget at 22%. We should be at 25%. Water expenses are under budget at 24%, and wastewater expenses are under budget at 21%. So,
Those are numbers I like.
good numbers.
I noticed that our water and wastewater system capacity fees are way ahead of our budget for this year. Did we have any major projects that?
He has some big development, it was in January.
In January?
Yeah, I believe it's developers paying the system capacity fees for individual lots.
Okay.
In two particular subdivisions.
Moving on to capital improvements, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you. So relatively short meeting this month, a couple of projects that are slowly trucking along. So the master booster pump station being constructed by Bear Contractors, work is underway. So that's really all the status I have. Jeff's already covered the Eglin reuse, so. And then to jump ahead to the golf course, unfortunately, I was not able to make that meeting this month. Jeff, would you mind sharing any updates on that?
I wouldn't mind. I'll hit the highlights. So, most recent month, we're reporting we had a profit of $30,000. Year-to-date, $97,000, so we're still seeing good traffic out there, good number of rounds, favorable weather, all those favorable conditions to help keep the course profitable. I do want to update a couple of the projects we have going on out there. The bridge replacement on hole number 3, received an engineering report from our consultant, identified 3 options with costs. The costs were a little bit more in line, a little less than what we had anticipated, which was positive. Did not include the environmental permitting, nor did it include the demolition and the there's one utility irrigation line that needs to be relocated. We think that's going to add another $100,000 to those totals ballpark, but still, I think overall result in a project that hopefully will be a little less than we'd hope to spend out there. So that's good news. I think we were thinking it was going to be a lot more. Still have to go out to bid and see what the contractor was going to bid on it, but it was certainly favorable. still working on our patio project. The under drain has been put in. We just need to have our coating guy coming out at the end of this month to do the coating, and that after that patio will look a lot better. So we're going to purchase some lawn furniture and spruce that up. Last project update is our sign. We are meeting with the sign vendor tomorrow for what I call a design charrette. We're going to look at some colors and some final details on what he's going to provide us. So we're looking forward to that as well, and get him out there as quick as we can.
The invoices for the month, there were several fairly large items on there, Sadler Enterprises and Ninja Coatings and all that. Are those relative to the pergola project? Or?
Both of those are the patio project. Sadler was the installation of the under drain or trench drain, and Ninja is the coating manufacturer, installer.
And did we have to replace an air conditioning unit out there also?
Yes, I believe we did this past month. We've replaced probably 3 to 4 of them within the last year. So yes, we've done significant upgrades on the HVAC systems out there.
Thank you.
I'll hit Fairpoint as well. Actually, not a whole lot of updates on Fairpoint. We are seeing progress on our booster station on 399. As you drive by, you can see the roof's gone up over the pump station. And on that one, we're also waiting on some controls to be delivered as well before we get the tower in operation.
Thank you very much. Mr. Phillips, can you walk us through Messi?
I don't have anything significant to report other than we continue to stay extremely busy. Yes, best thing.
How many active projects do you have right now?
Depending on how you define active, we probably have 12 significant construction projects underway right now, which provide construction monitoring administration. Probably have, there's numerous projects under design, but there's probably 10 significant projects. I would, if you say construction is $2.5 million or more, there are all kinds of smaller type projects that we do for utilities such as wastewater treatment plant renewal. We specialize in seeking funding for utilities, so we're always trying to find money for planned projects, capital improvement projects. So that's continuous. We have 4 preliminary engineering reports underway right now for utilities. There's a lot.
How many, Mr. Phillips, of those are pertinent to Holly Navarre water system?
Really only Holly Navarre has one significant project right now. That's the master pump station. But, the master booster pump station for Holly Navarre is very tightly tied to the Fairpoint project, which is also being done right now. So while it is a Fairpoint project, it is Holly Navarre is a owner. I almost, I guess, consider that a Holly Navarre project. And the completion of one is somewhat dependent upon the completion of the other one too, as well. The Fairpoint project provides for additional flow to a couple of the members, not Holly Navarre water system. However, the delivery of flow into Holly Navarre during peak periods has been occasionally below what we consider the design elevation of the system, which is 166 feet down here in this area. So to fill our tank, the brand new tank at the master booster pump station, which has the same overflow elevation as the rest of the system, even though it operates independently, we really need the Fairpoint project online as well to take full use out of it. We can use a master booster pump station, we just can't.
And you said you or find funding for utilities. I was very curious if you were thinking about anything across the way with regard to the building that's kind of got a lot of rodents and some piping and things are exposed to the elements and really need a new one.
Yes. Yeah. I guess there's not any current discussion about that project. I think Clinton and Jeff are optimistic that perhaps when we get done with everything else we're doing, that there is funds available potentially to do some of that over there. Are there funds available to build that? Yes, there's always low interest money that can be obtained in terms of a loan. Are there grant funds available for that over there? No, I don't think there are. We're always looking for grant funds. But that project, while it's incredibly important to be able to do the things that Clinton and his guys do every single day, it's not one of those projects that you can sell to someone who has grant funding as being critically necessary to supply water or wastewater services. So grant funding is kind of.
We had an idea, but it takes 2 to 3 to tango on that one. So, all right, thank you, Mr. Phillips.
Okay, Ms. Hardy's not here. I don't believe we had a benefits committee meeting last month, did we, Jeff?
No, but we have one scheduled for June the 4th.
Okay. Let's move on to number 4, finance. Review of the restated unaudited January and February financials. Mr. Krigler?
Yes, so this was put back on here because when we looked at these in, I believe it was at the April board meeting, there was concern about the nature of these statements being unaudited and what in fact the board was approving. Since that time, we resolved that. Barbara's got some information on what the actual differences are after they've been restated, so she's going to go over that, and hopefully we can get these approved.
Okay, for January, you'll see in the slide the pre-audit number and post-audit number. Revenue difference was $21.77. The expenses had a difference of $24,816.15. And with a total net operating loss, since there's more of an expense there, of $24,794. And the purpose of that change, what consisted of that change was 2025 purchase orders that had not been closed, received in the Edmunds system until after year end. And due to that, until the system was closed after the audit, is when those 25 expenses or 26 expenses hit. Another system flaw in my mind.
So we had less operating income. We didn't actually have a loss.
The difference.
There's a difference of 24,000,
Right, so
not a
the
loss of
total-
24,000.
Right,
Okay.
so the total for January was $146,736
Okay.
net. And then for February, one more. For February, there was no difference in your revenue, and the same for those expenses with $13,333 for a difference of, in your total operating of $13,330 for total operating income of $448,100 for February.
$38,000 less year to date
Year to date.
for those
For
first
those
2
2
months.
months.
Okay.
Correct.
Do we need a motion to approve these restated financials?
I make that motion that we approve the restated financials for January and February 2026.
Second.
Any discussion? Can we have a vote? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? So we have 6 ayes.
Oh, I thought for a second you said nay.
I did not. Number 5, we'll do a review of the unaudited March quarterly financials.
Okay, for March, total revenue was $1,671,458. Total expenses of $1,122,464, with a total operating income of $548,993.
Can I get a motion to approve this unaudited March?
I
So
move we-
moved.
Go ahead.
Second.
Any discussion? Can I have a vote? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? We have 6 ayes. Okay, this is a fun one. Administration rescinding the 2018.04.17 revised reuse resolution. Jeff, can you walk us through this one, please?
Sure. So back in 2017, the board voted to approve a resolution that would require the developers, and these are developers that are mostly installing subdivisions in our franchise area, to install reclaimed water infrastructure in these new developments for future use, presumably by our members at their house. That infrastructure would include essentially the purple piping and a service line from the piping to the lot line, once again for future irrigation of their property. At the time, this policy may have made sense. We don't have the infrastructure in place to get the water from the plant to these subdivisions. I think at the time, the board felt that we were going to install that infrastructure, and therefore this made sense from a planning standpoint. However, there's been no impetus to install that infrastructure. We don't have the kind of funding bandwidth to do that. So we believe this policy is now outdated and it really doesn't make sense, either from an investment standpoint nor from a regulatory standpoint. We have an area-wide permit to spray reclaimed water, and this resolution and policy has nothing to do with that. So it won't affect us from a regulatory point of view. So we're in favor of rescinding this resolution, and it'll just clear up any confusion that we have when we're talking to our developers.
Have we been requiring developers to put this in since 2018? Because the history of this was that there was a period of time when it was supposed to have been required, but it wasn't being enforced, and so that's why this resolution was done.
That's correct. It has not been applied consistently. There have been some subdivisions that have gone in within the last few years that do have the reclaimed water piping. And it almost seems to me like the engineer and the developer put it in there on the plans and we didn't have them take it off. So they installed it and it's there, and that's fine. For instance, in Holly, we have not been requiring it because there's no infrastructure up there to do that. I think we kind of have the foresight to not require it up there. So it was inconsistently applied, which is another reason for rescinding it.
If I heard right, so we have like a handful of places we can disperse our effluent now.
Correct.
To do anything with this is going to cost us some big bucks.
Yes, to get the piping there, that's correct.
Okay.
So we made a rule that was difficult to enforce, and we never spent the money to do it. We just possibly cost some developers additional cost in putting their stuff in.
That's true.
And you're saying we ought to get rid of this rule.
Yes.
Can I get a motion?
I move that we rescind 2018.04.17 revised reuse resolution.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Can we have a vote? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay? The ayes have it, 6 ayes. Moving on to number 7, the South Santa Rosa Regional Reuse Project. Jeff, can you walk us through this amendment?
Yes, so Jacobs Engineering is the engineering firm that is providing the inspection and construction administration services on our Eglin project. As you know, we had a extended time frame due to the easement issues with Eglin Air Force Base. So that has really delayed time frame of the project. Anytime you have a longer time frame and your consultant is involved on the construction side and the administration side, certainly costs can go up. So they provided the what they think is an amount to get them to the finish line here. I would point out that this is part of the cost share with Santa Rosa County. So of this $29,500, we're looking at 56% of that being ours. So it's actually well less than $25,000 we're asking for actual approval to spend, but just because of the sheer magnitude, we're want to bring this forward.
So if we approve this, is Santa Rosa on the hook for the other money, or do they also have to approve it?
The county engineer is good with it. He responded to me an email to let me know that, so they'd be on the hook for 45% of this.
Okay.
I move for approval on behalf of the South Santa Rosa Regional Reuse Project Amendment 3 to go to Jacobs Engineering in the amount of $29,500, and I want to add to that 56% of which would be Holly Navarre Water Systems responsibility.
55.
55.
Second.
Any discussion? Can we get a vote on this? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay? The ayes have it, 6 ayes. Moving on to number 8, the Club at Hidden Creek Operating Agreement Amendment.
Yeah, so I'll start this. This is some language we want to address here. If everyone would turn to tab 8 under new business, you'll see an excerpt from our operating agreement for the Club at Hidden Creek. You'll see item 7.1 C is highlighted, and it talks about the manager of the management board at the golf course, and it goes on to state that 2 directors of the member duly elected by its board and the CEO of the member are each appointed as a manager of the company to serve until his resignation, death, removal, et cetera, I think, and I don't want to put any words in Don's mouth, but I believe his point tonight is that language no longer matches what we're doing out there, and I believe he just wants to point out that we should probably do an annual vote if we're going to be doing something different. You can comment on that if you think I've captured that.
I would agree with the last statement that I believe, and I think back in 2023 was a change. I think we were told by legal that we don't have to update this just to remove the 2 directors. Okay, and I can accept that, but I think that every year we need to vote on, do we leave it as it is or do we change it, since we have options in there as to change it. And I personally, I'll make a motion now that I would like to go back to having 3 members on the management team, Jeff, our CEO, and 2 directors to be voted and appointed by the board.
So we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Do we have any discussion?
Well, I will. I mean, part of my reason is Jeff's got enough to do. He's got enough to do. We didn't hire him to be a GM for the golf course. I think it, you know, having him as the sole responsibility over there just adds to his heartaches that he doesn't need. So I think put two of us over there to sharing the heartache helps him. And I'd much rather he spent more time hauling of our water system than TCHC, personal opinion.
I'm good with it. I don't know, maybe our council can weigh in on how we would go about making that selection and how that affects what Mrs. Lindsay's already doing. I don't know the answer.
Well, you already have in place an operating agreement that says that 2 of your board members will be members appointed as managers. So if you simply appointed 2 board members as managers, then you would have accomplished that. So you can do it in 2 motions, but if you pass this motion that's on the table, then your next motion ought to be to appoint 2 board members. Otherwise, you could, you know, withdraw your motion, make a new motion, name 2 board members, and you'd be in compliance with 7.1 paragraph C.
I'm more than happy to do that. Unless somebody objects, I will rescind that prior motion. Anybody need to check that? Or I will rescind that motion.
Okay,
Do
and
you
I
agree
will,
to?
I have to second his
No, you withdraw your second.
I withdraw my second.
Okay.
And make a new motion.
Okay. So I will make a new motion that Ken Ingram and Stephanie Lindsay be added to the TCHC Management Board for this year, for 2026.
That'd be effective, June? Effective immediately?
What happens December 31st?
Is that?
Okay.
Your motion is for 2026.
All right, I will restate it. I move that Ken Ingram and Stephanie Lindsay be appointed to the TCHC Management Board until after the next election and that reorganization meeting takes place.
And if I could appoint it as a member, that would be what they are being appointed as. So your operating agreement says that 2 directors, or you are the member of the Holland Bar Water Fund, and are elected by the board, and so each are appointed as manager of the. So you would be motion that Ken and Stephanie are appointed as managers of the club.
Okay, I agree. Do I need to restate it?
No,
Okay.
We're getting time. So do I need a second?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President. I have a concern. Director Lindsay, you were not at last month's meeting. Do we have any assurance that you'll be at future meetings now that you're being appointed?
Yes, ma'am. As a matter of fact, that's the only meeting I've missed since I've been appointed, so
Okay,
thank you.
that was my concern.
Any other discussion? Can we have a vote?
I got a vote, and then I have one item about this.
So just for clarification, we're going back to this. Director Lindsay is not currently a voting member of that board. She's just a liaison. She will now be a managing member as well as Director Ingram, or President Ingram using.
She will be a manager.
A manager.
You, as the company, are the only member.
Right, okay.
Manager.
Manager,
You'll be
Okay.
one of 3 managers.
okay.
Not to muddy the waters. I mean, to your point though, in my mind, her current role just disappears.
Right, okay.
All right. For this year.
Mr. President, may I make another comment?
Sure.
Some of us up here are not golfers, or would like to be, some of us would like to be, but the vast majority of us are not. And I am kind of concerned that we're not putting a golfer on this managerial board, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, I'll follow up. I mean, the elephant in the room, she's pointing at me. I just have some conflicts, I think, this year, and attitude adjustment that I need to make. I don't think it would be beneficial for Holly Navarre or the club at Hidden Creek for me to be on that board at this date. I intend to assist both of them in any way I can, but I think two others are a better choice than me for the way I see things right now.
Any other discussion?
The other item I had was the impacts this potentially have on the names that need to go on the liquor license. I don't know if council can speak to that. I believe myself plus the other two names not to be added to the liquor license. In the past, there was concern about people having their name on the liquor license. I'm just throwing that out there.
It is a requirement. You must be fingerprinted. You must not have any, I mean, you must be able to be on a liquor license. I'll leave it at that.
Any concerns?
Any concerns?
Good. I had a CS clearance before, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? Can we have a vote then? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? 6 ayes have it. Number 9, effluent disposal operational protocol. Jeff?
Yes, so Director Linnell asked that we address this in a kind of an introductory form at this meeting. So we provided a memo that we think describes this protocol pretty well. And what this is how we're going to run this effluent disposal system once the Eglin project is online. So I will run through the 4 main.
Okay. Jeff, can I interrupt real quick? Were we given the is it in here?
It is on tab number 9.
Okay. I thought you meant you emailed it out. And
No.
I was going to say, somebody didn't include me.
So there are 4 main orders of operation here, and I'll just run through those real quick. The first one is that the golf course will still meet its irrigation needs on a daily basis. That will be the first order of operation. After that, we'll make sure the Holly by the Sea ponds remain full. When the levels in those ponds drop, we hear about it. So we'll keep those full. Then the remainder of the flow, essentially, that we have to get rid of, will go to the Eglin Rib. After that, we will, on either a weekly or bi-weekly or whatever that frequency is, we will operate Greskovich just to keep that, keep it in use, to keep it active. So that's generally the operational protocol we're looking at. We can't put numbers on it right now because that first item, which is the amount of water the golf course needs, is so variable. It's so weather dependent, and depending on the weather, there's be a day or weeks where they don't even take water. There could be days where they take a significant amount every day. So it's going to require some coordination and communication between the two parties, but we'll work that out. But this is generally how we see this happen.
Is that pretty much true for the second one as well, the ponds?
Yes.
Okay.
Although that's a more reliable figure. We kind of know what it takes to do that, and we continue to provide that.
Mr. Krigler, not seen here, and of course I understand that, but in the event of a cataclysmic collision on the Yellow River Bridge with that pipe attached to it, what what contingencies are in place to accommodate the breaking of that pipe at that juncture?
Well, the pipe attached to the bridge is the Fairpoint water main, but your point's well taken about that reclaimed water line breaking. So let's say the line to Eglin has some type of issue where it has to be taken offline. Well, then we go back to we got three options then. Then we're sending water to the golf course, we're sending water to the ponds, and we're maxing out the rest of it. After that, we're filling up the reject ponds at the plant. That's it. That's our limit.
There are other options. We don't wanna go that far down the list, though.
No, but the point is, at today's outflow, we have capacity.
Correct. That's absolutely right.
Great. Just curious, for the new Eglin, do we have a minimum requirement, or it's whatever you want to put up there? There's nothing in our contract or lease or anything saying you shall do this much? Okay.
We will have that language if we end up sending some water to Gulf Breeze during the summer, but that's phase 4.
Okay. Sending or selling?
Sending free.
Any other discussion?
No, thanks, I appreciate it. As you said, I requested it.
That was a good call, Director Linnell.
That's good information. Mr. Phillips, on to you with engineering.
Operations was a little short-staffed last week or so, so the normal report didn't get in here, but you see, Jeff primarily put together the development status sheet we're gonna include going forward to just really briefly address something that was discussed before on the impact fees. What you're seeing, the impact fees you're seeing are infill and Holly by the Sea and subdivisions that have already been constructed. See from the list here, there hasn't been much submitted and approved this year. There is talk of a couple of larger multifamily projects. We really don't have another major subdivision being discussed at this point in time that we're aware of. There's all, there could be something behind the scenes, but development has significantly slowed.
Mr. Phillips, what's that one being called now that used to be Captain's Cove?
That Wild Heron?
No, I think Captain's Cove is the current name. Wild Heron is a separate development.
Captain's Cove is the addition is still.
And it's not showing up yet? Right, okay. Thank you. And then the one over there by the Ribs, by the Bresovich, that one there that's on 78 acres or whatever, what's that one gonna be called?
Mariner's Landing, I believe.
Mayor's Isle.
Something like Mariner's Isle.
I think it's fair.
And that'll show up here eventually. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they have had some very preliminary discussions with us, because like to make some capital improvements through their subdivision, but they have not yet officially submitted anything to us. My understanding is they're doing a lot of feasibility studying right now, so I don't know what that means.
Last question, that Commerce Park up off of 87, have they done anything with us yet?
This Reynolds vacuum capture, I think some of the impact fee, past fees do be showing from that, but there is, development.
Previously.
Yeah, but I mean, even the new phase, they're building it. So we're probably seeing some.
Thank you.
All righty then.
Mr. President, before you go to member forum, I need to ask your indulgence because of a comment that came out, and this is back on item number 1 on the SAGE contract, and it is because of the comment that came from our consultant that was hired. And I want to set expectations of the board, and I want to get clear direction from you. The motion that passed on that was to get a contract back from SAGE for legal to negotiate, essentially, help out with regards to the things that are a concern to you. I want to point out, because it's in your package under tab 1, the document is here. Okay, this is the agreement that would come from Cargus. You heard the consultant that has been hired with regards to the contract with Sage. He said that's going to be like essentially your iPhone upgrade. I agree, or you don't use it. Okay, so we're not going to have a lot of input into that process. The thing that we will have input into is this document here, and it is my understanding, I just need to get clarity, that staff is comfortable with the scope of the document. That is where the implementation process is. That's in pages essentially 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. The key, then you'll see on pages 17, 18, 19, and 20, that's that fine language which I said that we would be getting, and, you know, true to point, dispute resolution in the next to last paragraph on 20 is in Pennsylvania. Limitation of liability is the amount we paid them in the last 3 months, or $5,000, whichever is greater. So you're not going to get your money back. And really the only impact or input we can really have for you is on page 5. And this is important because on page 5, this is where the CEO indicated that the price here is for a 3-year subscription. Remember, this, you're not buying software. This is SaaS, software as a service. And you are buying a 3-year subscription. You'll see that the annual cost of that is $36,000, and you're getting a $16,800 3-year subscription discount and a 1-year professional service promotion of $9,000, which is taking that cost to $9,600. So I just want to be clear that if we go back and we say that what we really want, because the board is concerned that you're not going to like it and we need to get out, and you say a 1 year, if that's what you want us to do, that we can do that, and these numbers are going to change. I just don't think that we're going to have a lot of input into any of the small type, you know, payment terms, the agreements, the cancellation policy, project delays, those kinds of things. We're just not going to have a lot of input into that. And we're certainly not going to, you know, if we don't like it, you're going to give us our money back. They're not going to agree to that. I mean, I can try, but I'm just trying to set expectations here on how this is going to go. And I don't want to unnecessarily delay this an entire month for me to come back and then you say, Will, you had that document last month. We do, but if you want me to go back and negotiate some of these terms, or me and the CEO, then we kind of need to know what it is you want. You're concerned because we don't want to get into deeper than 1 year. Perfectly understandable. We can do that. I think that's what the CEO indicated they would do, but it's going to be a cost issue.
I think that there's, first off, to your point, I don't see the SAGE agreement here.
This is not the SAGE agreement.
Right.
The reason, that is a good point, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because our consultant told us, this was the first we heard that in his dealings, SAGE isn't going to deal with you. Their attorneys have written their contract, and it's going to be I accept or you don't. And what he said was, your out is your term, meaning you get out at the end of your term. That's what he said. That's what we hired him to tell us. So.
And I understand. I heard the same thing from IBM and Oracle as well. So you and I should probably take this offline together. But little tiny things like page 17 with recoverable costs and expenses, which are not included in this estimate, we need to put some parameters around that. I'm not looking to put them up at the Taj Mahal while they're down here and pay for Cadillacs for them to drive around in.
Correct.
So there are items in here that we need to go through and pick apart. An automatic 5% increase annually is something that concerns me a little bit. We need to discuss that.
Good.
So I think that there are opportunities for us to go through here and pull some of this apart to at least put some parameters around it to understand how we control some of this cost and expense. And so when we can, like I said, we can do that offline. And I'd be more than happy to sit down. I'm sure Don, who has quite a bit of experience in IT as well, would be willing to participate in the conversations. And then we should see what the contract from Sage is and whether or not they are as unyielding and as unbendable as a salesman tells me they are.
Understood.
Okay.
And on that same page, $275 an hour, where will he or she be coming from? For Cargus, they're kind of like the troubleshooter, the mediator, if you will, is that correct?
They're the implementer.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Pennsylvania.
So he's gotta get on a plane, $275 an hour, oh boy, better not ask any questions, all right, thank you.
Well, we just need to understand that, especially as it relates to other software mentioned within the contract here, and I picked on Adobe a little bit, and that's fine if they are a reseller of the Adobe and it's included, but we will also need to see the Adobe contract to make sure that we're not violating any of their stipulations.
So looking at that, real quick question for Barbara or Jeff. Is Fruz one of the entities that will be using this? Because it's got 4 users.
Fair point.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now I can get to 4.
Okay. Any other discussion? Thank you for that, by the way, Will. Now we can move on to the member forum, and I see that we have 3 who have asked to speak. Renee, would you like to join us at the podium? And if you would, state your name and your address.
I think our seats are slightly less comfortable than y'all's, so I apologize for standing in the back. My name is Renee John Meyer. I live at 8709 South Lynn Road. Okay. I'm running for County Commissioner, District 2. A little bit about myself. I'm a wife of 33 years. I have 4 children and 9 grandsons. I've lived in Santa Rosa County for about 20 years now. I do have a vested interest here far beyond any dollar I could ever make. So I'm probably not going to say anything tonight that you all don't already know. It's just a little bit about what I believe and stand for. So if you'll just bear with me. First of all, I want to thank you all. These glasses. I want to thank you all for running for these positions. I know that you all don't take them lightly. So I appreciate that. I'm not sure how much time I have. 3 minutes? Is that right?
3 minutes.
Okay. 3 minutes. Okay, it shouldn't take me that long. I'll try to be quick. I want to talk about Santa Rosa Wellfield Protection Area. The Wellfield Protection Area isn't to safeguard the groundwater that families depend on every single day. Once contamination enters an aquifer, it's extremely difficult and sensitive to remove. Prevention is cheaper than cleanup. Strong protections aren't red tape, they're fiscal responsibility. Cleaning polluted groundwater can cost millions, take decades, while prevention costs a fraction of that. Growth must respect the protection zone. Development near or within these areas should be carefully evaluated. Not all growth is bad, but it has to be done responsibly with clear safeguards to prevent long-term damage to our water supply. I know that at one point there was talk about using part of the wellfield protection area for a spray field. Oftentimes we're told that everything is safe until they're not. So we should protect that at all costs and not take those types of risks. I'm also, as of right now, opposed to data centers and the NDAs that protect them for up to 1 year before citizens even have a say. data centers and because of the high water usage that can strain local resources, the significant energy demand that impacts infrastructure, and because there is limited local return versus long-term impact. Santa Rosa County is growing, and with growth comes new responsibility, especially when it comes to our drinking water. Several utilities are approaching their permitted limits, and long-term planning matters now more than ever. As demand increases, utilities have to invest in new wells, treatment.
5 minutes.
Treatment.
5 seconds, I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness, okay. Time's up then. I'm sorry. I do have some, it's a little bit longer. Go ahead. Okay. As demand increases, utilities have to invest in new wells, treatment, and reuse systems. Those investments show up on monthly bills, which is why families across the county are seeing steady price increases. We will need leaders to understand that we must use our water wisely so that we keep costs manageable and supply reliable. I'm running for county commissioner because we need thoughtful, steady leadership that protects our water resources and our wallets. That means supporting expansion of reuse, encouraging practical conservation, and making sure growth aligns with available water supply. And it means protecting the East Milton well field so we maintain a clean, dependable source for decades to come. If you want a commissioner focused on long-term reliability, affordability, and responsible planning, I'm ready to serve. Together, we can ensure Santa Rosa County has the water it needs today and for the next generation. Thank you. I do have some flyers if anybody's interested, so thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Ray. Next, I've got Lee Horde. If you would state your name and your address, please.
Hello, my name is Lee Horde. I reside at 6968 Gandy Drive, and I am a member in good standing, Mr. President, honorable board members. So just a couple of things real quick. In previous meetings, I had mentioned the need to, as part of the strategies that you guys are incorporating in your tactical planning in the strategic plan, which I'd like to get a copy of that, by the way, to consider the potential for cyber attacks on the water system and also terrorist attacks against the aquifer. And you may think, Lee, you're just being crazy, right? But that ERP system that you guys were talking about earlier, that's a vulnerability, okay? And they could hack into that and get all of our member information. There is a recent incident where there was an IED found at the reservoir that supplies Mobile, Alabama, the 200,000 residents. So those threats are real. Also, to cite like an actual cyber attack in Oldsmar, Florida, which I used to live very close to, there was an attack, a cyber attack, and yeah, and Jeff is nodding, yeah, and they were able to increase the sodium hydroxide levels remotely. I mean, how crazy is that? So somebody intervened and saw what was going on and took care of it and resolved it. But I'm just saying, I encourage you to spend the money to identify the vulnerabilities and then to harden as necessary. Now, I'm going to talk about something else, and that is public relations. I think that Holly Navarre Water System has done a great job with the board that we have, and there are some things that you could brag about. Number one, the golf course is profitable, and that profit can actually help to offset any increases, pay rate or rate increases for members. People need to know that. The Williams Creek DEP report evidently shows that the water system actually had no negative impact on that water stream. So that's another very positive thing. The pipeline going across the Santa Rosa Sound to alleviate effluent going into the sound is another huge win. I I mean, the sound is essentially dying. We need to save our water, and I would recommend that you guys come up with a good slogan like, "We're not just a water company." Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. And finally, Bill, if you would give us your name and your address.
Sign up for anything that I knew of. I thought I was assigning his attendance. Bill Teal, 2842 PGA Boulevard. I just want to commend you for one thing you did tonight, and that's reinstating having two directors on the TCHC board. I think that's very important. The reason it went away, I was still on the board in the last year when it went away, and it went away because the two members of the board who were chosen to be on the TCHC board didn't want to assume the responsibility of going on a liquor license. I have my suspicions that was because one of them figured he wouldn't pass the test, but that's neither here nor there at this point. But anyway, I commend you for that.
Thank you for that. Any other comments from the gallery? Any other discussion from the board? Have a
Motion to adjourn.
Second.